Have you ever wondered what honesty really gets you in life? In a small, humble village, there lived a woodcutter, a man of simple means but rich in character. Every day he headed into the nearby forest with his trusty axe in hand, ready to work hard and earn his living. His work, though strenuous, was honest, and he carried it out with sincerity and dedication. He would chop down trees, bundle up the wood, and sell it to a merchant in the village. His earnings were modest, just enough to keep the hearth warm and the pot full, but this simple life filled with honest work and contentment was all he ever wanted. His satisfaction wasn't drawn from the abundance of wealth, but from the integrity of his work and the calm simplicity of his life. But one day, his routine was interrupted by an unexpected event. Imagine a day your most essential tool disappears. What would you do? The woodcutter found himself in this exact predicament. One sunny day, while he was in the forest, chopping away at a sturdy tree by the river, a mishap occurred. His trusty axe, the tool he relied on for his livelihood, slipped from his grasp and splashed into the river. The river, known for its depth, swallowed the axe whole, leaving no trace of the woodcutter's precious tool. It was not just any axe, it was his only axe, his companion through the thick and thin of the forest. It was more than a tool, it was his means of survival. With it, he was a provider, a crucial part of his small village. Without it, he was just a man, standing helplessly by a river, his heart sinking deeper than the axe had. His brow furrowed with worry, his hands empty and idle. The woodcutter could only stare at the river's surface, his mind racing. The river was too deep, too swift. Diving in to retrieve the axe was out of the question. Despair started to creep in. How was he to cut wood now? How was he to sell it to the merchant? How was he to earn his living? A whirlwind of questions, but no answers. His heart ached at the loss, and his future seemed as murky as the river that had claimed his axe. The tool that had been his silent partner, aiding him in his daily toil, was now hidden beneath the river's surface, unreachable, irreplaceable. His shoulders sagged under the weight of his loss, his spirit dampened. In his desperation, the woodcutter turned to prayer. He prayed with a sincerity that echoed his simple, honest heart, calling upon the divine for help. His voice, filled with despair and hope, floated from the riverbank into the vastness, hoping for an answer, a miracle. And perhaps, just perhaps, his prayers would be answered. What if your sincere pleas were heard by a divine entity? Suddenly there's a shimmer, a ripple in the air, and there she is. The goddess, an embodiment of grace and power, appears before the humble woodcutter. Her radiance is such that the surrounding forest seems to hold its breath, the river stills, and even the rustling leaves pause their dance. She speaks, her voice as soothing as a lullaby, yet as commanding as thunder. "What is the problem, my son?" she asks. The woodcutter, awestruck yet comforted, shares his predicament, his words simple and heartfelt. He tells her of his lost axe, his only means to earn a living. He doesn't ask for riches or miracles, only for his humble iron axe to be returned. The goddess, moved by his honesty and simplicity, nods in understanding. She turns to the river, her gaze penetrating its dark depths. And then the goddess reached into the river. What if you were presented with an opportunity to claim something far more valuable than what you lost? Picture this, you're standing in front of a goddess who's ready to grant your wish. She dips her hand into the river, and out comes an axe, glimmering with the sheen of silver. She asks, "Is this your axe?" But you, being the woodcutter, know that your axe was not silver, so without a second thought you tell her, no. The goddess, however, does not stop there. She places her hand back into the river, and this time she brings out a golden axe, shimmering with a radiant glow. She asks again, "Is this your axe?" You look at the golden axe, more valuable than anything you've ever owned, and you could easily claim it as yours. But again you say, "No," you tell her, "I can't cut the trees with a golden axe. It's not useful for me." The goddess, surprised by your honesty, decides to give it one last try. She reaches into the river, and this time she brings out an iron axe, the very one you lost. She asks, "Is this your axe?" And your face lights up with joy as you recognize your tool, your livelihood. "Yes, this is mine. Thank you," you exclaim. You see, the woodcutter could have easily lied and claimed the silver or golden axes, but he didn't. He chose to be honest even when he stood to gain from dishonesty. He knew the value of his iron axe, not in terms of gold or silver, but in terms of its utility, its relevance to his life, his work. Impressed by his honesty, the goddess decided to reward the woodcutter. But what was this reward? Was it the silver axe, the golden one, or something else? Stay tuned to find out. Can honesty be more rewarding than gold or silver? Picture this, our humble woodcutter, standing by the river, axeless and worried about the future. Suddenly the goddess, touched by his sincerity, reaches into the water one last time. This time she retrieves an iron axe, the very same one the woodcutter had lost. Overjoyed, the woodcutter exclaims, "Yes, this is mine, thank you." The goddess, impressed by his honesty, does not stop there. She presents him with the silver and golden axes as well. Imagine the woodcutter's surprise. He had not expected any reward for his honesty, let alone such a generous one. The woodcutter's face lights up with joy. He thanks the goddess profusely, his heart filled with gratitude. He looks at his axes, iron, silver, and gold, each one a symbol of his honesty and integrity. And so the woodcutter learned the true value of honesty. So, what can we learn from the woodcutter's tale? This story paints a vivid picture of the virtues of honesty. The woodcutter, living a simple life, lost his axe but remained truthful when tempted with silver and gold. It was his honesty that led the goddess to reward him with more than he lost. This tale reminds us that even when faced with seemingly insurmountable challenges, our honesty can lead us to unexpected rewards. Remember, honesty isn't just the best policy, it's the most rewarding one too.